everyone. So now we are going to discuss the next design pattern in my series, and that's chain of responsibility. Chain of responsibility belongs to behavioral category of design patterns, which is everything to do about how different classes interacts in order to achieve your final goal. So in chain of responsibility, we are not expecting a particular class to resolve the problem, but all the classes who can solve the problem are connected in the form of a chain. I repeat, all the classes which can solve the problem are connected in the form of a chain. So the source class for whom a problem needs to be resolved is transferring that problem to its next successor class. If the next successor class is able to solve the problem, then it solves it. But if it is not able to solve the problem, it passes on this request to the next successor. If the second node in the chain is not able to solve the problem, it transfers it to the third node in the chain. If the third node in the chain is not able to solve the problem, it moves the request to fourth node in the chain. If fourth node in the chain is not able to solve the problem, then it moves the request to fifth node in the chain. And it keeps on doing, and it keeps on passing the request to its successor node until the problem is resolved. So in chain of responsibility, we allow the request to be resolved by chain of objects. I repeat, in chain of responsibility, we allow the request to be solved by chain of objects. It's not that one particular object in a chain have to solve the problem 100%. It's not the case. I can divide my entire problem solution in 10 different steps, and suppose my chain is having 10 different nodes, then one node can solve 10% of the problem. Right? Suppose I have a chain of objects of length 10, that means there are 10 nodes in my chain. One node can solve 10% of the problem. So when the request will go to the second node, 20% of the problem is solved. And it can go on and on and on. By the time we reach the end of the chain, entire 100% of the problem is solved. That means in chain of responsibility, one node in a chain can either partially solve the problem or it can completely solve the problem. I repeat, in a chain of responsibility design pattern, one node in a chain can either partially solve the problem or it can completely solve the problem. And if a node has not completely solved the problem, it passes on the request to its successor node in the chain. Okay? So chain of responsibility avoids coupling the sender of a request to its receiver by giving more than one object a chance to handle the request. I repeat, chain of responsibility avoid coupling the sender of a request to its receiver by giving more than one object a chance to handle the request. That means you are not directly coupling the sender of the request with the receiver. but between the sender and receiver, I have a chain of objects who can handle the request. So it's not a tight coupling between sender and receiver, but I'm giving a chance for more than one object to solve my problem in a chain. Remember, the objects are connected in a chain. It's not a network. So suppose I want my request to be resolved, I pass it to the first node in the chain. If first node in the chain solves the problem completely, great, it returns from there and there. If the first node in the chain is not able to solve the problem completely, it passes on the request to its successor in the chain. If the second node is not able to solve the problem, it passes on the problem to its next node in the chain, and it keeps on doing that till the request is solved in the chain. If the request reaches the last node in the chain and if it is still not resolved, then the problem is marked unresolvable. But the very point that I need to make here is more than one object is given a chance to handle the request. I repeat, more than one object is given a chance to handle the request. So here basically we are avoiding coupling sender of a request to its receiver by giving more than one object a chance to handle the request. Here we chain the receiving objects and pass the request along the chain until an object handles it. In this pattern, we chain the receiving objects together and then passes any request messages from object to object until it reaches an object which is capable of handling the message. The number and type of handler objects isn't known to the client, because for the client, he knows only the first node in the chain. So the number and type of handler objects isn't known to the client. They can be configured dynamically. This pattern simplifies the object interconnections because it's just a linear chain here going in one direction. Instead of senders and receivers maintaining references to all the candidate receivers, each sender keeps a single reference to the head of the chain. I repeat, instead of senders and receivers maintaining references to all the candidate receivers in the chain, each sender keeps a single reference to the head of the chain, and each receiver keeps a single reference only to its immediate successor in the chain. So the sender keeps only a single reference to the head of the chain, and each receiver in the chain keeps only a single reference only to its immediate successor in the chain. So the sender doesn't keep the database of all the candidate receivers. Similarly, each receiver in the chain doesn't keep the database of all the receivers in the chain, but sender keeps the record of only head of the chain, and all the receivers in the chain keeps track of only its immediate successor only. Clear? So what are the different advantages of chain of responsibility? The sender is free from knowing which receiver handles a request. The sender is totally free from knowing which receiver handles a request. Sender and receiver have no knowledge of each other. Hence they are totally loosely coupled. Because the sender doesn't know who in the chain is going to solve his problem. That's why sender and receiver are totally loosely coupled here. You can add flexibility in distributing the responsibilities among objects. Responsibilities can be added or changed for handling requests by changing the chain at runtime. This is a very important feature. You can change the chain at runtime. So now that we have discussed the advantages of chain of responsibility design pattern, can you all think of any disadvantages? Since a request has no explicit receiver, there is no guarantee that it will be handled. Since the request has no explicit receiver, I have a chain of nodes who can receive it, there is no guarantee that it will be ever handled. What if the request keeps on passing to next node, next node, next node in the chain, and if it reaches the last node in the chain, and if it is still not resolved, then there is definitely a guarantee that the request is not yet handled. So the request may fall off the chain without ever being handled. So that's the only disadvantage that I can see of chain of responsibility design pattern. So now the very big question to you all, when to use this pattern? We need to use this pattern when more than one object may handle a request and handler is not known to the user. The handler should be ascertained automatically. So handler should be ascertained to the user automatically. You may want to issue a request to one of several objects without specifying the receiver explicitly. If you want to issue a request to one of the several objects without specifying receiver explicitly, in that scenario also you can use this pattern. Third use case scenario when you can use this pattern is if the set of objects that can handle a request should be specified dynamically. If you want to specify a set of objects that can handle a request dynamically, then that's a perfect use case scenario for using this pattern. Fourth use case is if you want to distribute the work between different objects. If you want to distribute the work between different objects, then that's also a very good scenario for using this pattern. So these are the four different use cases when you can use this pattern. So here I have a UML diagram for you all, wherein there is a handler which is an interface here, which is an abstract class. Okay, so from that I am inheriting a class called concrete handler. Concrete handler is actual node in a chain. I repeat, concrete handler is the actual node in a chain. So I have a concrete handler A which is handling the request. Similarly, I have a concrete handler B which is handling the request. So concrete handler A, concrete handler B are all the actual nodes in the chain of responsibilities. I have a chain of receivers, right, who solves the problem. So each node is a concrete handler. So concrete handler A is one node, concrete handler B is the second node. So all these nodes can resolve the issues as per its capability. So since both of them are inheriting from interface, they are inheriting handle request APIs. So the very important point to be remembered here is each node in the chain is having just the pointer to its successor. It's just having a pointer to its very next node, nothing else. So you can imagine the chain of nodes where each node is having an API definition for handling the request, and each node has a pointer to its successor node. Okay, is this clear? So here is the program that I am going to explain to you all to represent the chain of responsibility. It's a very simple example that I have here. In a real life problem, when you all get issues, what do you all do? Suppose you are writing a program and you face a bug. If you face an issue there, what all we do? First we analyze the error, then we fix the error, then we verify whether the fix that we have done is working fine, and then we close the error. Right? If you are writing a program and you encounter an error, what all we do? First is we analyze the error, then we fix the error, then we verify whether the error fix that we have done is working fine or not, and then we close the error. Okay, so I have defined a class error here with following APIs. So now each error here is a node in a chain. Okay, so what did we learn from the chain of responsibility design pattern? Each node is having a capability to solve the issue, and it also has a pointer to the very next successor node in the chain. So this is an error which is one node in a chain. In the constructor, you are accepting an input from the user and is saving it into state variable. Then I have a successor which is a pointer to next node in the chain. So there is an API called set successor, to which I am accepting a node and I am setting that node as the successor of this node. I repeat, I am accepting a node and I am setting that node as a successor of this node. So this node successor will be next node that I am accepting. So set successor is just setting successors. In short, I am forming a chain here. And process error is a function which is going to be implemented in different ways in different subclasses. So process error is a pure virtual function here. It's going to be handled or defined in analyze error, fix error, verify error and close error the way they want it. There is a class called error report which has a constructor here which accepts a state and assigns that state to its data member. There is a get state which returns the state. There is a set state which sets the state. So in the constructor it is setting a state, in set state also it is setting a state, in get state it is returning the state. Simple. I have an enum defined which consists of these four values. First you analyze the issue, then you fix the issue, then you verify whether the issue that you have solved is fixing the issue, and then you close the issue. So let me explain to you all this again. I have taken a real life example where we get an issue while programming. So what are the four steps that we do? We analyze, we fix, we verify whether the fix has worked, and then we close. So these are the four enum states that I have defined. Then I have an error report class here which accepts a state and assigns it to the state member. Set state accepts a state and assigns it to its data member, and get state just returns the state. Then I have a class called error which is one node in a chain. So in chain of responsibility, the key point to remember is it has a pointer pointing to its successor node in the chain. So this is a class error which is having a pointer pointing to error type, meaning to its successor in a chain. So in the constructor I am accepting error state and I am assigning to its data member. Set successor is very important part in chain of responsibility. It accepts a node from outside and sets that node as a successor of this node. I am accepting a node from outside and I am setting that node as a successor of this node. And then there is a function called process error which is pure virtual function here which is going to be defined in each of the subclasses that it's inheriting from. That is, process error is going to be defined in analysis error, fix error, verify error and close error. So these are the four classes which I shown on the previous slide. Analyze error will pass a state called analyze, because all these four are inheriting from error class, right? So analyze error will make the state analyze, fix error will make the state fix, verify error will make the state verify, close error will make the error state as close. Okay, So this is the process error that I am defining differently in 4 classes, which I am inheriting from process error of the error, right? Because all these 4 classes are inheriting from error class, wherein I had just declared process error. I had made it a pure virtual function. Now let's see what am I doing here. I'm accepting a report from outside, and if the state of the report is equal to analyze, I'm printing on the screen that analyze error have handled the request. I repeat, if the state of the error report that is being passed from outside is equal to analyze, I print on the screen saying analyze error have handled the request. Else, what I need to do? I need to pass the request to its successor, because the state of the error report is not analyzed, so I have to pass it to the successor. So what I am doing? Successor process error report, and I am passing the report. So I'm calling the process error of its successor node, because this node process error is not able to handle the request in else condition, right? If the state of the report that it has received is analyzed, I handled it. Definitely I handle it here. But if the state of the report that I get from outside is not equal to analyze, I need to pass this report to its successor node. So I call process error function of its successor node, and I pass that report. How do we implement process error of fixed error class? I get a report. If the state of the report is equal to fix, then I print on the screen that fixed error have solved the problem. If the state of the error report that I have received is equal to fix, I print on the screen that I have fixed the issue. Else, if the state of the report is not fixed, then I am passing the request to its successor. Then I'll explain how verify error is implemented. Again, the process error, same API. If the report that has been received, its state is not, if it is equal to verify, then I print on the screen that verify error have solved the issue. If the state of the report is not equal to verify, then I pass on the request to its successor. In the close error also, I check the state of the report that has come from outside. If the state is equal to close, I print on the screen that the issue is resolved by close error class. Else, since I visited all the nodes in the chain now, I don't have a successor to the close error, right? So I print on the screen saying no successor, so I am ignoring the request. I will again explain this. There are now 4 nodes in the chain. The first node is analyze error, second node is fix error, third node is verify error, and fourth node is a close error. Totally there are 4 nodes in the chain. So let's say analyze error first. If the report that I received has a state called analyze, and I print on the screen saying analyze error have solved the issue. Else I pass on the request to its successor. The next comes fix error. If the report that I have received, its state is equal to fix, then I print on the screen that fix error have handled the request. Else I pass on the request to its successor. Okay. So then the next class is verify error. So if the report that I have received has a state equal to verify, then I print on the screen that verify error has fixed the issue. Else I pass on the request to its successor. Last is close error. If the request that I have received has a state called close, then I print on the screen that close error have solved the issue. Else I print on the screen that no other successor nodes are available, because close error is the last node in the chain. So at that point I print on the screen saying no more successors are available, so I am ignoring the request. And this is a main function of forming a chain. Okay. So the first we create instances of processing objects. So I create object of analyze error, create an object of fix error, create an object of verify error, and create an object of close error. Then I make fix error as a successor of analyze error. I make verify error as a successor of fix error. I make close error as a successor of verify error. So how is the chain now? Analyze error is the first node in the chain. Fix error is the second node in the chain. Verify error is the third node in the chain. Close error is the fourth node in the chain. Right? Then I create a new error report and I pass its state as analyze. And I pass that report to analyze errors, process error. Since the state of this report is equal to analyze, it's going to be handled by analyze error itself. And it will come out. I create a new error object, but its state is close. So I call analyze errors process error and I pass close. But since the state of the report is not equal to analyze error, it will pass on the request to fix error. But again, since the state of the report is not equal to fix error, it will pass on the request to verify error. Now since the state of the report now, which is close, is not equal to verify error, it will pass on the request to close error. And since the state of the request report, that is the close, is equal to close error, it will be handled by close error and it will come out. So let me explain this again. In the main, I am forming a chain and I am passing the request to be handled by the chain. So first I create the nodes of the chain. So I create analyze error, fix error, verify error and close error. So now 4 different nodes of the chain are created. Then I connect them to form a chain. I connect the 4 nodes that I created to form a chain. So I make fix error as a successor of analyze error. I make verify error as a successor of fix error. I make close error as a successor of verify error. That means all these 4 nodes in the chain that I had formed here, I am connecting them here. So analyze error will be my first node in the chain, whose successor will be fix error, which is the second node in the chain, whose successor will be verify error, which is the third node in the chain, whose successor will be close error, which is the fourth node in the chain. So here I have created 4 nodes, here I have connected them in the form of a chain. Then I create a new error report whose state is analyze and I pass that to process error. Since the state of the report is equal to analyze, it's going to be handled by analyze error, first node itself in the chain. Now I create a new error report whose state is close. It's going to be handled by the last node in the chain, right? So, but I still pass it to analyze error because I don't know who is going to handle it. As a user, I don't know who is going to handle it. So I pass on this report having a state close to the analyze error itself, which is the first node in the chain. Since the state of the report is closed, which is not equal to analyze error, it will pass on the request to the next node in the chain. So request will go to fix error. Since the state of the report is not equal to fix error, it will pass on the request to the next node in the chain. Since the state of the report is not equal to fix error, it will pass on the request to the next node in the chain. Now since the state of the report is equal to close error, close error will process this report and it will come out. So that's all I had on the chain of responsibility design pattern. Thank you.